This season, I've ridden at over 10 different ski resorts in Pennsylvania, and I almost skipped over Shawnee altogether. But I was really surprised about how much fun I had snowboarding here. And today, I'm doing a full mountain review of Shawnee Ski Area, going over 5 key categories, each scored from 0 to 20, and adding them all up at the end for a total score out of 100 to help you decide if visiting this ski resort is worth your time and money. First, let's start off with the terrain offered at Shawnee Ski Resort. This mountain is considered a smaller family ski resort in Pennsylvania, but still has a good amount of terrain at 125 acres and 23 total trails, which is more skiable terrain than Liberty Mountain in southern Pennsylvania at 100 acres, but still less than the more popular Blue Mountain at 170 acres. Shawnee was voted the third best small ski area in the state by On the Snow, and they have 43% beginner, 30% intermediate, and 27% advanced terrain to spread across the ski resort. And even though those percentage splits seem pretty even, a lot of their advanced runs were toward the lower half of the mountain and seem pretty short as well, which is great for those riders progressing their skills to have black runs to work on that aren't too advanced or intimidating, but it also doesn't allow for a good challenge for the more advanced skiers and snowboarders. But it does allow for beginner and intermediate riders to take any lift to the top because they can just avoid the steeper terrain as they go down by choosing the right line. The longest run here is just over 1 mile, and it takes this winding path. My main complaint about Shawnee is this uphill section when you're riding on Pocahontas over to Indian Queen, which are both green slopes. There's a big uphill section of the trail. Even when keeping as much speed as possible, I still have to unstrap and skate a little bit uphill.
It's uphill, so I'm gonna have to skate just a smidge. Just a smidge. Still counts. For all my skier friends out there, it's probably more up your alley.
Which can definitely be annoying, and it might be easier for skiers to navigate, but it seemed like just an odd place to have an extra buildup of snow. Now, Shawnee only has 700 feet of vertical drop, but they have 100% snowmaking and night skiing from Wednesday to Sunday. And even with the less vert than other mountains in Pennsylvania, all the trails felt really fun and flowy to me. In fact, other mountains like Blue Knob only have about 700 feet of vert as well if they only open their upward trails. And there's other ski resorts that even have less vert in Pennsylvania than that. So don't discount Shawnee because of its vert alone. Shawnee does a great job of having quality snow and still had most of its terrain open into March this season. With their average season being open from December and closing around March, Shawnee's trails are divided up as having 11 green, 7 blue, 6 black, 3 terrain parks, but no glade trails. And even though Shawnee is lacking my favorite type of riding, which is in the trees, they still had some fun side hits and natural features that allowed for some creativity on the mountain. And pretty much every trail felt like a great cruising run. Now, it might have been partly due to the lack of glades, but I did spend a good amount of time playing in the terrain parks here. Now, I'm not a great park rider by any means, but I really enjoyed the progressive features and how they're laid out in the parks. Unlike terrain parks at other mountains where all the features just kind of seem randomly spread out, where you might have a rail or a jump or a box, and they're kind of all mixed in, where you might feel comfortable hitting one feature and then have to go around a couple features until you feel comfortable hitting the next one. Shawnee's park had very easy boxes at the top that gradually got more difficult until they turned into rails, which really drops the intimidation factor down and allows beginner and intermediate park riders to get more experience and improve by hitting every feature as they go, and those features slowly get more difficult, which easily allows beginners to start at the top or intermediates to hop in the middle, or whatever progression level you feel like you're at. You can even hit the whole line if your skills are that advanced. Now, I really enjoyed this so much that if I had more time, I would have just kept lapping the park. Even though I could only hit the first 3 to 5 features, it was so much fun. So with all the terrain aspects considered, Shawnee scores a 16 out of 20 because they do have some awesome and fun terrain, but they're definitely missing out on having glade trails, which they could create with their terrain pretty easily, and they don't have that much advanced terrain to test your skills on. Now let's look at Shawnee's mountain layout. Is this ski resort easy to navigate? Well, just a quick glance at the trail map shows a pretty straightforward layout that decreases the chance of getting lost or confused because any trail you choose will eventually lead you back to the main lodge. which is another reason why this mountain is family friendly. And having beginner terrain from top to bottom is great for those learning as well. There are 9 total lifts, 1 high-speed quad, 1 regular quad, 3 doubles, and 4 surface lifts. I do want to point out that not that many ski resorts in Pennsylvania have high-speed lifts, especially not the ones that are on the smaller side. So that's a big benefit to Shawnee's Mountain, to be able to lap the terrain a little bit more quickly if you jump on the high-speed lift. Now you'll quickly notice the top of Shawnee is flat, which does make you skate over to the slope you want to ride, but that's also better than only being able to have a certain lift to access specific trails. And a little skating isn't the end of the world either. As I mentioned earlier, most of the advanced terrain is near the base, allowing you to simply avoid these trails or attempt them knowing the base is nearby without too much intimidation factor. Another aspect I really enjoyed about the layout of Shawnee is how the terrain parks are all together and off to one side, which really helps decrease unnecessary traffic riding through the parks. The layout at Shawnee scores a 15 out of 20 because it's decent in general and simple to navigate, but that uphill section breaking up the momentum, making you skate or unstrap, is really unfortunate. Let's not forget to look at the lodging offered here, and like many ski resorts in Pennsylvania, there's no slopeside lodging options. And this seems to generally be the normal for the state, with only a few exceptions like Seven Springs and Camelback offering a lot of slopeside lodging right there on the ski resort. So I'm not going to knock Shawnee too hard for it. Now there are some close by options like the Shawnee Inn, which is only 3 miles from the slopes and offers a winter ski village as well. And there's also several other hotels, inns, and cottages nearby, just a little further, ranging between 6 and 15 miles. So due to the obvious lack of slopeside lodging, this ski resort scores only an 11 out of 20. But I've grown to view ski resorts without on-mountain lodging as a great day trip destination, and they're usually also less crowded too, so it's not all bad. And now let's review how much it'll cost you to come ride at Shawnee Ski Resort. I came and rode at Shawnee Mountain for free on the Indy Pass, which allows you to ride 2 days free and a discounted 3rd day at all Indy mountains. So if you have an Indy Pass, don't skip this mountain in Pennsylvania. And for everyone else without an Indy Pass, their lift tickets are still very affordable, with regular adult lift tickets ranging from $52 in the midweek all the way up to only $90 on peak season weekends and holidays. It's almost guaranteed to be an affordable day at Shawnee. Not to mention, Shawnee also offers a variety of discounts for seniors, military and college students, and night skiing here only ranges from $25 to $50. So because you can ride here for only around $50 if you time it right, the cost scores a 17 out of 20 for consistently providing great terrain access for a solid price. And the last category is the uniqueness factor. What makes Shawnee Mountain worth riding at compared to other mountains nearby? This ski resort is great for families, any skiers and snowboarders looking for beginner and intermediate terrain to progress on, while avoiding crowds of the bigger mountains, and has some great fun and flowy groomers to enjoy. But what really stood out to me was their progressive terrain park features, allowing beginner and intermediate park riders to have that slowly progressive park line to keep working on and improving, which was a lot of fun. Uniqueness gets an 18 out of 20 for these reasons. Alright, so after going through all the key aspects at Shawnee Ski Area, it scores a 77 out of 100. What did you think of my review of Shawnee? Did I miss something important? What's your favorite part about this mountain? Let me know in the comments. But if you're comparing ski resorts in Pennsylvania, then you have to watch this next mountain review.